Yo, what is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. Today, we're going to be showing you guys just these new starts and support. A couple options you can do with the new scepter also. It changes up your timings a little bit. So we just wanted to get a new updated guide, kind of how to play the early game, how to play the laning phase, and then kind of when you look to rotate out. We're going to be playing this from the position of being a winning 2v2. If you're losing 2v2, all you're going to try to do is just farm under tower, not die, get your waves, try to get your own purple buff. That's about it. It's a lot more exciting when you have pressure, so that's where we're going to play it from. So the first thing to look at when you're playing support is what starter do you actually have. If you are stuck with Benevolence, you want to make sure you try to get to these 50 stacks before you even group up with your teammates. If you're not at 50 stacks, you're just kind of throwing the early game a little bit. If your ADC takes any poke in lane, you're not going to be able to heal it up instantly, or take that inevitable poke on purple. So starting off, green buff. This is the initial start. Always starting green buff unless you want to try to invade the enemy's speed. I'll show you that also. Pick up your green buff. You're going to be walking to purple. And there's two ways to play this. There's the way where you have a lot of pressure and you can play to absolutely just stomp. And we're going to be doing that. We're going to hog that purple buff. And then playing through lane, you want to just optimize how your character clears. The bots obviously don't do their own camps, but when you're playing like something like Sylvanas, you have these AoE autos. You want to play to hit the back archers and have your ADC hit the front archers. Once I get those to one hit, I don't want to last hit them because I have Benevolence. And then just rely on your ADC to hit them. The bots are just going to kind of run it down. So this first spike in the laning phase is actually hitting level 2. Once you hit level 2, it gives you pressure to clear this next wave. And the next wave is the first time that your pressure actually matters. As soon as you clear the waves, you want to head over to Scorpion or Scepter that spawns at 1 minute. Scepter has about 1,000 health, so it takes a little bit of time. If you don't have great pressure, it's going to be very hard to pull. You want to make sure you're healing up a little bit. Supports usually are going to be taking Scepter currently. You're going to be playing to push this third wave. This is the third wave at 130. You're going to be pushing this to try to get under tower. And then you're going to be going for Scepter. Or not Scepter. Side camps. Not Scepter. Scepter's already dead. Fourth wave coming up at 2 minutes. You're going to be looking to clear this one. And clear the next one. And then going for an invade on the purple buff. All right, next wave of spawn. Purple buff is up. You want to get pressure for this purple buff by pushing in this wave first and making the enemy choose between either the purple buff or the wave. Now we have that wave shoving under. Say they were still here and they could look to contest this. They're going to be either able to get this purple buff or they're going to have to be able to get the wave. They can't do both. You're going to push your next wave and then you're going to be going for your own purple buff. And this is kind of how you're going to be playing most laning phases when you have pressure. Currently, pressure means a little bit in duo lane. Now that you have Scepter, you have actually something to fight for over there. There's actually something you can gain from having pressure instead of just getting these really small camps that don't really get you a lead. Scepter, when you get ahead, pushes your lead. After getting purple buff, you want to go push waves again. And now this is just at the point where you just farm waves. You hit wave, you go camps, you go waves, you go camps, you go waves, you go camp, you go wave, you go camp. Back and forth just like that. So that is the first start. It's you have pressure. You're trying to play for lane pushing presence. If you have a winning lane, you have something like Sylvanas, you have something like Rama, Izanami, Alderun, stuff like that is very, very high push power. You're going to be wanting to make use of this. You're going to be wanting to go wave, pushing wave, go for a camp. Push wave, go for another camp. Push wave, go for another camp. Obviously, if you don't have pressure, if it's a good 2v2, something that you're going to have to fight over, it won't be so easy to just do this to that, to this, to that, to this, to that. But if you pick something like pressure, which is very good in comp, it's very good in ranked, where if you get ahead, you can continue pushing your lead. This is going to be a very good thing to use. Now, the other way that you can play is this support style that Mike did in their set versus the Camelot Kings in game 1. Look at where Mike is on the map. He's on the enemy purple buff. So the style is you invade the enemy purple buff. You solo the enemy purple buff. Your teammate does his green buff. This stops the enemy from hitting level 2, which I said is one of the biggest spikes in the early game. Your enemy can no longer hit level 2. Your ADC is going to be 2 off the purple buff and like, I think half a wave, and I think that's it. But now at this point, Mike is slightly behind. Panda is super far ahead and Genetics and Net are in between them both. But this is very good for the Jade Dragon side. Panda Cat's going to hit level 2. They're going to have a lot of pressure, and you're not going to have a level 2 on the enemy side. This allows you to play for Scepter a lot easier. What's easier to fight? A 2v2 where your level actually matters, clearing actually matters, or a 2v2 where one of you is level 2 and 3 of you are level 1? The one side that has level 2 is just going to automatically get push pressure. Off of this, this makes it a lot easier for them to be able to push this wave in. And you'll see, no level 2. It doesn't matter. This is fine. No level 2. You're allowed to continue playing. Panda is level 2 still. Net's going to be taking a lot of poke here. So instead of actually using their pressure to clear, they're using their pressure to do damage, which is always a good style. It's always fine to do that. Anyway, they cut to the boring lane for the best part. But if you win that 2v2 and it's something that you don't actually outclear, which they actually don't outclear in this 2v2, Mike's team doesn't, the Dragon's team doesn't, it allows them to play for Scepter in a different way. Instead of actually playing for push power, they played to poke Net. Net just healed it up a little bit. So I don't think it was the wisest choice to go for the trade there. Instead, they should have just looked to push the wave. But that is another style that you can look to use. It really only works on the supports that can solo buffs. Some warriors can do it. Sylvanas can sometimes do it, depending on how slow the enemy clear is. Yamojas obviously can do it. Ymir can obviously do it. That is basically the other style. And the biggest thing to keep track of when you're playing these pressure comps is to continuously chain invade the enemy purple buff. If you keep getting that enemy purple buff, that's farm that you're getting and farm you're taking away from them. Getting ahead only works if you continuously just keep putting on pressure onto the enemy. If you're getting just one purple buff and then you're backing out and not getting much out from that side of the map, you're not really pushing your lead like you should be. But you always got to keep your eye on the mid. 2v2, where's the enemy jungle? Where's the enemy mid laner? To see if you can actually go for that invade. That is stuff to always keep in mind. Ward up around on that side of the map. Ward the enemy red. Ward the mid camps. Have your mid laners ward there. Your junglers ward there. Keep that stuff in mind. From the support's point of view, that is essentially how you're going to be playing the 2v2. You're going to be playing for those purple buffs, chain invades, playing safe. If you do forced rotations, it's best to just get out, because that's farm that they're now missing in mid lane if they're forced to rotate to defend purple buff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helped you guys support a little bit. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. If you have questions about 2v2s, anything like that, ask in the comments. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace, peace.